What it do, guys, man? It's your boy Solid back with another solid reaction, man. And today, man, we got Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer have a generational hatred that's lasted over 30 years. Now, Larry Bird is one of those guys who it's hard to get under his skin, but once you're under his skin or once you get on his bad side, you're on his bad side. There is no correcting it. There is no, oh, we can talk about it later. When you're on Larry Bird's bad side, you're on Larry Bird's bad side. And Bill Laimbeer has always been on Larry Bird's bad side. This dude here has to be one of the most dirtiest players in NBA history. I know we talk a lot about how Dennis Rodman played dirty and, Draymond Green plays dirty from time to time. But this dude, that was his job at every game, at every moment. He was supposed to get a technical. It felt like that's what his job was to get a technical, was to get the best player on the other team hurt. That was what his job was, man. But, man, if this is your first time seeing your boy Solid on your screen, man, and y'all do enjoy this content, man, make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to this channel and turn your notifications on. It don't cost you a cent, but a little bit of time. So go ahead and do that real quick, and let's get on to this one, man. You see what I'm going? All right, so
if you
we're gonna get into see what's going on
about Larry Bird's relationship with Bill Laimbeer, it's probably this incident from 1987.
Bro, this is so.
Laimbeer
See what
put
I'm
a
talking?
hard foul on Bird, and
Dirty,
Bird
just a
threw
dirty
basketball
mother.
at
Bink,
Laimbeer.
boy, get out of here.
That was a climactic moment, but by no means an isolated incident. It was part of a late 80s war for Eastern Conference dominance, a Boston to Detroit power shift characterized by brilliance and brutality. But these two weren't just participants in a team rivalry. There was beef. Beef before the fight, and more beef to come after it. Beef that persists decades later.
Oh man, I'm out of
Larry
train.
Bird and Bill Laimbeer do not like each other.
The beef history. If y'all want to see more of these, let me know,
was
man.
An awesome era of college basketball in the state of Indiana. Bird and Laimbeer entered it from very different directions. Laimbeer was the 7-foot son of a wealthy manufacturing executive, raised in the fancy suburbs of Chicago and LA. He played 4 years at Notre Dame simply because he could. Laimbeer helped the Irish reach their first Final Four in 1978, but he was set for life with little motivation to become a great pro player. That hardly changed when the Cleveland Cavaliers drafted him with the 65th pick in 1979.
Dang, that had to suck to
Bird
get
was the
selected with
fourth
the
of 6
65th.
siblings who grew up poor in small-town Indiana. Bobby Knight recruited Bird to play at Indiana University, but the overwhelmed and homesick 17-year-old dropped out before his freshman season even began. Bird ended up enrolling at much smaller Indiana State and played so brilliantly there that the Boston Celtics drafted Bird 6th in 1978, even though he planned to stay for his senior year, in which the Sycamores made the 1979 NCAA Final versus Magic Johnson's Michigan State. Bird and Laimbeer didn't really cross paths in college, but Larry definitely knew about Bill, if only because Laimbeer was one of his mother Georgia's favorite players. Cool, so let's jump ahead to 1985. Bird was at this point already an era-defining superstar, already a 2-time champion with the Celtics, who'd wrested Eastern dominance back from the Sixers, then taken down the mighty Lakers in the '84 finals. Bird held reigning regular season and finals MVP over his friend and rival Magic. Larry was on top of the NBA. Laimbeer wasn't doing so badly for himself either. After a year abroad and a couple years with the miserable Cleveland Cavaliers, Bill had been traded to the Detroit Pistons, where he joined young superstar
Isaiah
point guard Isaiah Thomas, another product of Indiana college basketball and, for what it's worth, another longtime favorite of Georgia Bird. Laimbeer had made a reputation for himself as a Piston. He was a powerful defender and rebounder, a deft outside shooter, a regular all-star right alongside Bird. Dude was also dirty like a diaper. Laimbeer fouled, flopped, and whined. Bird already knew the dude's deal from moments like this one in 1982.
Look at this, bro.
Laimbeer wildly swinging his elbows, then exploding at the ref who called a foul. That was just a taste. Beginning in '85, Bird would get heavy, near-annual doses of the Bill Laimbeer experience. The Pistons and Celtics played 5 playoff series in 7 seasons, with Boston holding the upper hand early on, Detroit taking over at the end of the decade, and both submitting to Michael Jordan's Bulls in the early 90s.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that initial power struggle got rough. The Celtics crushed Detroit in Game 1 of the '85 Eastern semifinals. In the second half of what would be another Pistons loss in Game 2, a frustrated Laimbeer hit Bird with one elbow on a pump fake, then another one that left Larry bleeding from his chin. Bird immediately came the other way, demanded the ball from Ray Williams, then
Cooked.
buried a jumper. And he wasn't
Get
done,
cooked.
despite the blood collecting on his jersey. In the fourth quarter, Bird scorched each of Lambier's teammates to reach 30
Cooked.
points, then 34, 36,
Just
38.
cooking them, bro. Just cooking them for
Bird
no reason.
finished with 42 points, 17 of them in the fourth quarter of that second victory. He was coy about the incidents that got him going. Yeah, the Pistons got away with a few elbows, but mostly it was the Celtics getting Larry the ball down low. He did note that Lambier wasn't playing well and seemed frustrated. Well, Big Bill turned around and dominated Game 3. He led Detroit with 27 points and got into it with Boston big man Robert Parrish. Bird had more to say this time. He trash-talked Lambier on the floor, suggesting Boston was going to sweep Detroit, and after the Pistons actually won Game 3, Bird and the Celtics accused the violent fouler of drawing fouls the other way by flopping like a fish out of water. Bird said refs favored Lambier, that he got all the calls.
Yeah.
And he specified that the other Pistons were fine. It was Lambier and Lambier alone with whom the Celtics had a problem. Lambier said the accusations and mockery didn't bother him, but he fired back, calling the Celtics cocky. And this on the same day, reporters spied Bird impersonating Lambier on the practice floor. Detroit took Game 4 to tie the series, and Lambier
Where's your
accosted the guy
bleeping
who'd predicted a
bomb?
Boston sweep and shouted, "Where's your broom now, guy?" From there, things cooled down a bit. Boston won the series in 6 games and went on to rematch the Lakers in the finals. Lambier was chastened and never messed with Larry and the Celtics again. Just kidding. Detroit got Lambier a new fouling companion, Rick Mahorn, in the summer
Rick
of '85.
Mahorn, bro. He was
Here
are
are
decent,
those two giving
but he was a
Larry a
horrible
nice
mother
thump in
too,
November
bro.
of that year. When Larry found out Bill had been left off the '86 Eastern All-Star team after making it 3 straight years, he said, "Good, now I won't have to worry about him saying, 'Hi, Larry,' and me having to say, 'F you, Bill.'" Bird definitely wasn't shy about his feelings toward Lambier. When SI's Jack McCallum asked the Celtics about their foe in '86, Bill Walton wouldn't let his response be printed. Parrish said, "If you can't say something nice about someone, then don't say anything." Bird delivered the blunt answer everyone else was withholding. "We don't like him that good." Well, Bird and friends were lucky to avoid his company that postseason. Detroit lost in the first round, so Boston didn't have to battle Lambier and the Pistons to win their way to the '86 championship. No such luck the next season. The Celtics and Pistons met in the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals, and it was not a cordial meeting. Not with the man Michael Jordan had just dubbed the NBA's dirtiest player involved. Just like in '85, the Celtics took care of the first 2 games at home. So just like in '85, Lambier made his presence felt in Game 3. The climax of a tense and violent Pistons victory arrived when Bird pump-faked Lambier into the air, and Lambier came down with a sledgehammer. Bird was not pleased and had to be pried off Lambier in a dog pile.
I don't care what nobody say. That's just dog wrong, bro. I don't care what nobody says. Well, maybe no, bro. He had no reason to do that, none whatsoever, and that's just all facts, no printer. When I look at it, I'm just like, bro, why even do that? Why even put Larry Bird in that situation, bro? Why? Like, let me know, because that don't make any sense, bro. I hate it. I ain't gonna lie, this is one of my main plays why I hate Lambier. Like, I ain't even gonna hold y'all and try to tell y'all this ain't the reason, but this is one of my main reasons, bro. Like, I'm being honest.
So
it just sucks,
found
bro.
Himself a long-range weapon and pegged Lambier with the bat.
Yaga, hit him in the head.
Lambier got
Fight me
ejected
then,
for
punk.
starting the fight. Bird got ejected for the ball.
Yeah.
The Pistons went on to win that game, and now the real game was afoot. The beef game. Bird was still fuming in the locker room. He reminded everyone of what MJ said, then went in on Lambier. He wished the refs would have just cleared the court and let them fight.
Give me 15.
Bill didn't want to.
Give me 15 minutes with him in the back. I'll show you what he really about. That's what Larry said. Give me 15 minutes with him in the back, man. Yeah, no cameras, no nothing. Give me 15 minutes in the back, and I'll show you what he about. He ain't about all that stuff he talk. He ain't hood like that. I'll show him what he think, man. He a preppy kid. He a preppy white boy, man. I grew up with hood. You feel what I'm saying? He like, I grew up with black dudes, man. I played on the court with black dudes. Lambier don't know what it's like to be out here in the goon squad with the real ones. Give me 15 minutes. I'll line him up. We'll get him right.
And he
feel me?
Bird acknowledged that he was at fault for throwing the ball, but he wasn't intimidated and had to protect himself from someone like Lambier. The opposing recollection was vintage Lambier. I didn't do a thing. I was trying to break his fall, and Larry just came up swinging. I was victimized by my reputation.
Bro, if you trying to break his fall, bro, you did that completely wrong. And you know it. You trying to break somebody's fall is you see them in the air, so you wrap yourself around their waist and you kind of protect them because you're closer to the ground. That's not what you did. You grabbed his head and tried to yank him over, try to finish him, boy. You try to get that man a whole Nelson. Come on, man.
Reputation.
Yeah, that would have hurt. That would have been peace.
Sure,
I'd have been mad.
He wasn't trying to hurt me, and I was trying to throw the ball to the referee. Bill's face just got in the way. The beef ran more icy than hot in Game 4. Bird refused to shake Lambier's hand before the game, and even though a lineup shift put Bird on Lambier as a defender, the two of them didn't really get into it. Lambier just quietly dominated the smaller Bird, and Detroit tied the series with a blowout victory at home. But afterward, Bird made clear he wasn't over the Game 3 incident. Lambier suggested he'd made snidey comments after the denied handshake in Game 4. And asked about said snidey comment, Bird repeated it as go blank blank, which I guess doesn't stand for go enjoy yourself, since Larry also said, I don't like Bill Lambier, why should I shake his hand? Lambier? Well, you never know until you try. This was very much Bill Lambier's MO. Incite conflict on the court, laugh it off and play dumb later. Anyway, back to Boston for Game 5. Lambier, who had just been fined $5,000 for the fight, sarcastically anticipated a warm reception after he'd knocked down the hero of Celtics fans. Bird was actually kind of wary. He didn't like Lambier, but he also didn't want someone to hurt him or anything like that. Bird was talking about the fans in that quote. He neglected to share that sentiment with his teammates. In Game 5, Bird made his point with another refused handshake. Bird's pal Robert Parrish emphasized that point with his hand.
Oh, yeah. Dropped him like a fly.
To the face, didn't even get a foul call, let alone a technical or ejection. Anyway, in this pivotal Game 5, the basketball eclipsed the beef. With just seconds left and the Pistons up 1, Bird got his shot blocked and the ball caromed out of bounds off the Celtics.
Hey, but this is the greatest play. This is one of my favorite plays right here.
Detroit had the win in hand.
Get it to your boy. Give it to him.
Bird
give me this.
Back to the homie. Legendary
finish.
Let's go. One of the best Johnny Most radio calls in Celtics history.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ. Right at 1 second left. What a play by Bird.
Let's go.
That was the decisive play of the series. Parrish got suspended for the attack that Bird deemed a good deed, and Boston lost
7,500. I ain't trying to pay that.
Back home for Game 7, the Celtics won the series, thanks in part to Adrian Dantley and Vinnie Johnson cracking heads, which knocked Dantley out and
he's slumped.
After the final buzzer, Lambier predictably sought Bird out for a handshake, and Bird just kind of walked through it. Larry remained clear at series end that his grudge wasn't going.
Hey, it don't matter if it's today, tomorrow, 40 years from now, bro. I'm not shaking your hand. You're a bum. You're a bum, bro. Don't ask me to shake your hand. You're a bum.
Away. He always respected opponents, but believed Lambier had tried to hurt him.
Yep.
And Sidney Green, who left the Pistons after that season, told people that Lambier had premeditated an attempt to injure Bird. That storyline might have lingered if Dennis Rodman and Isaiah Thomas hadn't said some spicy stuff that commandeered.
Wait. Two Pistons say Bird calls best because he. Yo, this little right here. Let me tell y'all something. If you black and you getting cooked by a white boy, he the best. I'm sorry. If you are black and you're getting cooked by a white boy, and you gotta say this. He the best. He's the best. Why do you have to say this? If you got to belittle a man because of his race, he was the best. I'd have been like, yeah, Larry Bird, he decent. He decent for a white boy. You know what I mean? That's what I would have said. He decent for. If I'm gonna throw some shade without going this far and doing with this, I'm gonna say, yeah, he decent for a white boy. That's shade. Like, for a white boy, what you mean for a white boy I'm decent? No, I'm a Larry Bird is still gonna take that offensive. Like, I'm a good player regardless. Saying this is like he's only the best because he white. No, he the best because he cooking y'all. He the best because he getting by y'all. He blowing y'all. You know what I mean? So what do you want, man? What does he need to do to be considered the best other than change his skin tone? If that's what it really is, bro, that is shameful on y'all. You feel what I'm saying?
Everyone's attention. But even still, Lambier had more than secured his place among the NBA's
thugs
so-called
of the NBA.
his Pistons would soon come to be known as the Bad Boys. 88 brought a conference finals rematch, and Laimbeer was certain that would be Detroit's year. He had the utmost confidence. Bird was like, I'm sure he's confident. I'm sure he was confident last year too.
Yup.
The 88 series was less explosive, but still cranky. Laimbeer hurt his shoulder early on, and Bird shot poorly all series long. They still got into it a bit, like this brief tangle during Game 2, but the extracurricular behavior was relatively tame early on. By Game 4, Bird was guarding Laimbeer again, which led to the usual shoving and the occasional technical, and also Laimbeer having a big scoring night. The Celtics won that game to tie the series, and Bird mocked Laimbeer a bit for passing up the final shot. But as Larry remained ice cold, the Pistons pulled away in games 5 and 6 to seize the Eastern crown.
Hey, but they don't talk about my man was hurt.
The Pistons would one day famously imitate. The bitter Celtics starters walked off the floor before the final buzzer commenced the Silver Dome celebration. That was the beginning of the end of an excellent Celtics era. Bird was too hurt to face the Pistons in the first round the following season. Detroit swept Boston that series and eventually swept the Lakers to win Laimbeer and company their first title in '89. Detroit repeated the following season while Boston once again bounced in the first round. The Celtics and Pistons met again in the '91 Eastern semifinals, but Bird was once again slowed by back injuries, and this was really just a battle to see who would become the Bulls' conference final victim. It was finally Jordan's time to wear the crown.
Exactly.
MJ, by the way, was pretty clear in 1990 how he felt about Bird and Laimbeer's chippy play on the floor.
If you had 273 professional basketball players and you say who's the dirtiest player in the NBA, you know, I say 95%, I say Laimbeer or Larry Bird.
Granted, I think neither guy would deny this characterization.
But is it the fact, okay, this is what I have. I mean, I hear what Michael Jordan is saying, but the way I'm visualizing and saying this is Larry Bird considered a dirty player because he don't take no shit? Or y'all saying he's a dirty player because he did dirty things? I think y'all consider him a dirty player because he don't take no shit. If I'm not gonna take no shit, I'm not a dirty player. I'm getting it back in blood. That's the whole theory of it. I'm getting it back in blood. You hit me, I'm gonna get it back in blood. I'm gonna hit you. That's exactly what it is, man. But I don't think Larry Bird was a dirty player. Maybe he was. I mean, I wasn't around back then to really know. But still, I wouldn't think he was a dirty player. Now, when I see Laimbeer and stuff he be doing, that's dirt. Like, he's known for his dirt. Larry Bird's not known for dirt. He's known for trash talking and busting a three. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Laimbeer, for one, released a video game
Combat
called
Basketball,
Combat
man.
Basketball in 1991. He owned his reputation. Anyway, both guys' careers wound down in the early 90s, and fans were left to wonder whether their mutual distaste would cool in retirement. Well, when the Celtics retired Bird's jersey in 1993, Bob Costas joked that it was a perfect night even though Laimbeer couldn't attend. And Bird said, we'd probably hang him up there with my jersey.
Go ahead and get him up there, man.
When Laimbeer contemplated his own retirement later that year, he said, I don't want to go out like Larry Bird, aka worn down and injured in his final game. But what about later? In the decades since retiring, both Bird and Laimbeer have stayed close to basketball.
WNBA. Yeah, I didn't even know he was a WNBA coach until about like 4 years ago.
And when you make
I
media
found out
appearances,
Laimbeer was a
this
WNBA
stuff
coach.
comes up now and then. In 2008, Laimbeer was head coach of the WNBA's Detroit Shock. Bird was an executive for the Indiana Pacers, who were in the middle of a playoff drought. When the Shock visited Indianapolis to play the Fever, Laimbeer went on local radio. He got asked about Bird, and he answered. I can't find the audio, but the wonderful Indie Cornrows blog transcribed it at the time. Laimbeer said he didn't really pay attention to how the Pacers were doing, but also betrayed that he kinda did. When Bob Kravitz confirmed the Pacers hadn't been making the postseason, the guy who had coached the Shock to multiple rings was like, that would drive me nuts. I'd probably quit. After piling on a bit more about Bird's inability to lead Indiana to a title, Laimbeer was asked about staying in touch with Larry and said he just didn't care to. They didn't grow up together, they were never friends, so why hang out?
Yeah.
Finally, Laimbeer was asked
I'm
what he would
that
do
way.
if
I'm
Bird
like,
called
bro,
him
we're
and
not even
offered him a
close.
job with the Pacers, and he guessed that entire premise was faulty.
Not cold.
And while Bird did go on record in 2009 to say Laimbeer was a hell of a coach, I think Laimbeer guessed correctly. In 2013, Bird was interviewed by a fan and didn't sound like he'd forgiven Laimbeer for the way he played.
You never really ever liked Laimbeer in any social situation?
No.
Yeah.
And it's because he was a dirty player.
And Laimbeer isn't interested in what I guess is the post-playing version of trying to shake Bird's hand.
Larry Bird's sitting next to you right now. Would you talk to him? Would you have a conversation with him? What would you say?
I'd probably go to a different table.
So, yeah,
Oh, man.
it's not like they're still drawing blood and throwing basketballs.
But the hatred is
beef
still
between
there.
Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird may never die.
Yes, sir.
Laimbeer was a very good player who thrived on starting shit. He said it best, I don't fight, I agitate, then walk away.
Yup.
Well, it turns out one of the greatest players of all time wasn't just going to let him walk away.
He ain't walking
Not
away
this
from me.
guy, not that night in '87, not before, and not since. Years of playoff conflict that culminated in a power shift all but guaranteed personal feuds. Of all those subplots, this is
oh
the
my
one that
God.
blew me away. Sometimes when you agitate people, they stay agitated forever.
All right, man, that's the end of this video, man. It was a great video. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I loved it because it really shows who Laimbeer was, a horrible player, and Larry Bird is just trying to defend himself or whatever the case may be. If you think Larry Bird's a dirty player, which I know most of you don't, y'all know for a fact Larry Bird just defends himself most of the time, and Bill Laimbeer is known for being dirty, so I can't even hold that to my boy Larry Bird, man. I know he was just defending himself. So, man, if you guys did enjoy this video, man, and y'all want to see more content like this, man, I do got a little video for y'all guys to check out up there, you know, just to see if you guys want to. Hit the subscribe button, maybe like this video, and I will see y'all in the next video. Solid is out. Peace.